24 days, 4 hours, and 3 minutes. At the time of recording, that's how far away we are from kickoff for the 2018 FIFA World Cup. And honestly, I would be lying if I said I wasn't excited. The World Cup, for every football fan, I would like to say, is the highlight of the footballing calendar. Every 4 years we look forward to it. There is no feeling like it in world sport. It is World Cup time, baby. G'day guys, how's it going? It is JarradHD here. Welcome to a different sort of video. I generally don't do these sorts of videos, don't do the sit down talking about football videos, and I asked you guys on Twitter, cheeky plug, go and follow me on Twitter at JarradHD, but I put out a tweet last week saying, I've got some opinions on the World Cup, would you guys want to see a prediction video? And I got a really good response to that. A lot of you guys said you would watch it, so here we are. First of all, I would like to put it out there that this will be a 100% subjective video. Of course, I don't think any one person are going to have exactly the same predictions when it comes to the World Cup or any big footballing tournament. You guys are definitely going to disagree with me on certain topics, and you'll probably agree with me on others, but make sure I'm all for healthy debate. So if you have something that you don't agree with, feel free to leave a comment down below. I'll be reading through it. Make sure we keep a healthy debate and have a good chat about the World Cup, because I'm sure we're all pretty hyped about it. But I know I'm an Australian. I won't be looking at these World Cup predictions with bias. I will be putting my footballing brain on and really thinking about who I think is going to go through. Not on a favoritism level, because if it was up to me, it would be Australia winning the World Cup against Germany or something every single time. But this is who I think has the most footballing quality. So if you guys do go on to enjoy this video, make sure you leave a like on the video, and also make sure you bloody scorpion kick that subscribe button down below if you are new around here. We are posting FIFA 18 content on the regular, but without further ado, let's get into the predictions, starting with Group A. So Group A is going to be Egypt, Russia, Saudi Arabia, and Uruguay. Now this one was pretty tough to pick. I definitely had a team that I think is going to get first, but picking that second, third, fourth spot between Russia, Egypt, and Saudi Arabia was going to be pretty tough. I obviously have gone for Uruguay in first position. I think they are the standout team in this group. I'm expecting Luis Suarez to step up and bang in the goals and get Uruguay to the round of 16. But when you look for that second position, two teams really battle that one out for me. It is going to be Egypt and Russia. I'm not really predicting Saudi Arabia to go far. I think they'll finish fourth in the group, but ultimately it comes down to, will Russia have the home crowd advantage, or will Egypt step up? You've got Mo Salah, arguably the best player in the world at the moment, at least the most in form. Will he carry the form that he's displayed at Liverpool over into the Egyptian national side? And ultimately, I think he will. I've got to back Mo, and I'm going to say it is going to be Uruguay in first, Egypt in second, Russia in third, and Saudi Arabia in fourth for Group A. I'm going to try getting through these group stages pretty quickly, but we move on to Group B now. Group B is going to be Iran, Morocco, Portugal, and Spain. And I think looking at this one, you've got to have the two teams that are definitely going to be going through. That is going to be Portugal and Spain. But in what order do I have them? I mean, it's maybe not the most crazy thing to think that Spain might not be able to get through. Of course, they didn't get through the group stages in the 2014 World Cup. Portugal, Euro 2016 winners, it would be a big shock if they were unable to get out of the groups. And personally, I think Spain have been criminally underrated for this tournament. You get a lot of hype. I've seen at least a lot of hype around teams like Brazil, a little bit around Argentina, Belgium, Germany, but France as well. But I really haven't seen too much hype around Spain for this tournament, and they're actually one of my favorites to take out the whole thing. So I have put Spain in first, Portugal in second, Iran in third, and Morocco in fourth. It was hard to pick between Iran and Morocco about who got third and fourth, but ultimately it doesn't really matter. Group C now, and this is one that I have a lot of feelings towards because of course my home country, Australia, are in it. And along with Australia, Group C features Denmark, France, and Peru. Now this group, very tough to pick. I think we can all say that France is going to finish top of the group, one of the favorites again for the World Cup. But picking that second position, really tough. I have thought about this. This was the group I thought about the longest. I changed literally between all three of the nations multiple times. I looked really deeply into how I feel like they're going to go, looking at the squads, looking at recent results, looking at the vibe around the nations. I mean, each country has their pros, their cons. Australia, we barely qualified for the World Cup. We scraped in. And then you've got Peru. They also scraped in as well. They beat New Zealand in the playoff game, but they also are missing their captain for the World Cup. 14-month ban for Guerrero. That is a big ban. Now, at the moment, I know that he is trying to appeal it, but I'm going off the basis that he is gone for the tournament. So I have gone in the group, first place France, second place Denmark. I know that is going to piss off a lot of my fellow Australians, but as I said, I'm not going to be biased about this one. I am not confident about our chances, and I actually think we have the capability of not picking up a single win in the group. That hurts to say as an Australian, but I do not see us doing well in this World Cup at all. Peru, I've put them in fourth. I've put Australia in third. But again, that all comes down to whether Guerrero is in the World Cup or not. And also, Peru have been really good. A lot of people, I think they're underrated as well. I know I put them in fourth, so I probably joined the underrated section. But as I said, this group, extremely difficult. I could see Australia and Peru sneaking into that second spot, but ultimately, I've gone for Denmark in second. Group D. Now, this is a group that I found very interesting as well. We have Argentina, we have Croatia, Iceland, and Nigeria. And it's actually the 5th time in 6 World Cups that Argentina and Nigeria will be facing each other. In the last World Cup, they were in the same group. Argentina, through Rojo, got a 3-2 winner. That was a huge game. That was a classic game, one of the best in the tournament. So I'm very excited to see them come up against each other again. Iceland, the story of the 2016 Euros tournament. They were the underdogs. They came from nowhere and they became cult figures. They knocked out England, I believe. No, that was Wales. Sorry, they were knocked out by Wales. But regardless, Iceland were incredible throughout the Euro 2016 tournament. Do I see them carrying that form over to the World Cup? No, I don't. I honestly don't think they'll pick up a single point. But this group, the 3 remaining teams, it's hard to say. I mean, logically speaking, and what I've gone with, I have said Argentina in first and Croatia in second. Croatia have probably one of the best midfields in the entire tournament. If they had a better side, a more balanced side, I could seriously see them doing more damage, but I've put them in second place for this group, but they are definitely a team to watch. They are a team that I feel like can do sort of what Colombia did in 2014. So I'm really excited to see what Croatia can do in this World Cup. Nigeria, I've got them in third, but again, I could easily see them pulling off an upset and getting into the knockout rounds. Argentina, they have so much attacking firepower, lacking a little bit in the defense, although Otamendi's been on absolute fire recently. They've got Garay, they've got all these good defenders, so this was another difficult group to pick, but ultimately I have gone for Argentina first, Croatia second, and then Nigeria third, and Iceland fourth. Moving across now to Group E, we have Brazil, Serbia, Costa Rica, and Switzerland. Now, I'm going to put it out there straight away, Brazil in first. I think they're going to wipe the floor in this group. Whether they go 3 wins from 3 games, that's another question, but I don't see them losing. I don't see them not finishing on top. But then getting to Costa Rica, Serbia, and Switzerland, it's tough to pick them. They had an awesome tournament, Costa Rica, in the last World Cup. Can they replicate that? I don't think they can. Brian Ruiz and Keylor Navas have a lot of pressure on their shoulders, but ultimately, I can't see Costa Rica getting out of this group and replicating the form we saw in Brazil. So now it comes down to Serbia and Switzerland. Switzerland, of course, coming through the playoff rounds to get into the World Cup. Pretty average form as of lately, but they've got some good players. They've got the likes of Granit Xhaka, they've got Xherdan Shaqiri. It's going to be interesting to see how they go in this World Cup, but ultimately, I am backing Serbia to join Brazil in the knockout rounds. Nemanja Matic, really excited to see what he can do in this tournament. Mitrovic as well, been firing in the goals for Fulham, my favourite English club. So I'm sure all Serbians will be hoping he can carry that form over to the World Cup. But I've gone Brazil first, Serbia second, Switzerland third, Costa Rica fourth. 3 groups to go. Group F now. Germany, South Korea, Mexico, and Sweden. Is this the group of death? It's hard to say. I really don't think there is a group of death for this tournament. I mean, last tournament in the 2014 World Cup, it was Australia's group. We had Chile, we had the Netherlands, and we had Spain. But I think this group here is really going to be a tough one. Of course, Germany, the 2014 champions. I love the World Cup in 2014. I'm a quarter German, so I mean, once Australia got knocked out, I was right on the German bandwagon. But I think Germany's going to progress out of this group, and I think Germany's going to go deep in the tournament again. But it's going to be interesting to see who comes out of it. Mexico, Sweden, or South Korea. I mean, Sweden had a very tough run to the World Cup. Of course, they knocked out Italy famously in the playoffs. They don't have Zlatan Ibrahimovic for this one, but I mean, they didn't have him through a lot of the qualifiers, so it's going to be interesting to see how they pull through. Ultimately, I don't see them getting out of this group. It's probably going to come back and haunt me. They might do a mad one, but I don't see Sweden coming out of this group. So that comes down to now South Korea and Mexico. Will we see Heung-min Son translate his Tottenham form into the World Cup, into the South Korea side? Ultimately, I don't think so. I have gone ahead and put Germany first, Mexico second, South Korea third, and Sweden fourth. Group G is one that I think is pretty standard. You've got Belgium, you've got England, you've got Tunisia, and you've got Panama. Of course, England haven't had the best run in recent World Cups. They want to get out of the group stages in this one, and I think they've drawn a perfect group. Belgium, I'm really interested to see how they go in this World Cup. For years now, it's felt for like the past decade, Belgium has been spoken about as this team that is going to rise, this nation that's on the rise in world football. They've got so many good young talents, and a lot of them now into their peaks. When are they going to start performing? Is this going to be the tournament where Belgium goes really deep, makes it to the quarters, the semis, the final, whatever? I think they are definitely in with a shout. Of course, Hazard now, a world-class player, linked with Real Madrid at Chelsea, won the FA Cup last week. He has been on absolute fire. You've got defenders who are probably going to have their last attempts at the World Cup. You've got your Vincent Kompanies, you've got your Vertongans, your Alderweirelds, Nainggolands, Lukaku. It's going to be really interesting to see how Belgium go in this tournament. But ultimately, I feel like this group is going to end up being Belgium first, England second, Tunisia third, and Panama fourth. And now to the final group for the 2018 World Cup, Group H, before we get into the knockouts. This group, in my opinion, is going to be the best group to watch. A very even group and a very attacking group. I think we're going to see some absolute World Cup classics come out of this group, Group H. So we have Colombia, Japan, Poland, and Senegal. Colombia, of course, went on a great run in 2014. James Rodriguez put the nation on his shoulders and got that massive move from Monaco to Real Madrid. He was the player, one of the standout players of the tournament. And that's one thing I want to ask you guys. Who do you think is going to have their breakout tournament like James Rodriguez had in 2014? Personally, I think Lozano from Mexico is a big shout, but let me know in the comment section down below. But getting back to it, I have put Colombia in first position for this group, and I spent a lot of time debating between the second spot, between all three of the teams. Personally, I have come to the conclusion that I think it is going to be Poland taking that second spot in the Group H, Japan in third, Senegal in fourth, but this group was borderline impossible to predict, and I'm almost confident I'm not going to get this one correct. So now we get to the knockout rounds, the round of 16. I'm going to put a little graphic up on the screen so you guys can see how the draw will look, but we do have Uruguay versus Portugal, France versus Croatia, Belgium versus Mexico, Brazil versus Mexico, Belgium versus Poland, Spain versus Egypt, Argentina versus Denmark, Germany versus Serbia, and Colombia versus England. So I'm not going to go into too deep of an explanation. I feel like I've touched on a lot of my points already when I was previewing the groups, so I'm going to get through this nice and quickly for you guys so I can ultimately give you my winner of the World Cup. So, in the first game, Uruguay versus Portugal, I have decided to back the 2016 Euros winners. I have decided that Portugal and Cristiano Ronaldo will be getting into the quarterfinals of the World Cup. France versus Croatia. Despite Croatia having the best midfield, or one of the best midfields in the World Cup, I have ultimately gone with one of the favourites of the World Cup, France, to get through to the quarterfinals. I'm very excited to see how France go, and I'm quite nervous as an Australian to face them in the group stages. I really hope that as a nation we aren't embarrassed, but France to beat Croatia. Brazil versus Mexico, I think this is going to be an absolute classic if we do get to see it. Such an attacking game, such a high flair game, but ultimately I have gone for Brazil to take down Mexico. Belgium versus Poland, a big game. Two world-class strikers in Lukaku and Robert Lewandowski coming up against one another. A very close match. I think it's going to be one game that goes to extra time, potentially penalties, but ultimately I think it's going to be Belgium living up to the hype and getting to the quarterfinals. Spain versus Egypt. I think Mo Salah is going to have to do too much work in this one, and I think Spain is going to get themselves through to the quarterfinals. Argentina versus Denmark. Again, I think Argentina's class is going to shine through, and we will see Leo Messi getting to the quarterfinals of the World Cup again. 2 games to go. We have Germany versus Serbia. A very defensive game in my opinion, and a game that's going to be won in late circumstances, but ultimately I think Germany is going to see themselves get back to the quarterfinals. And finally, a game, probably the most controversial one for this group, Colombia versus England. Will England step up in a big game and get themselves to the World Cup quarterfinals, or will Colombia get themselves back to that position? Will James Rodriguez do it again? No, he won't. I think England is going to get the job done. It's going to be an exciting game, but if England can step up, I think they'll be able to get themselves to the quarterfinals. So now 8 teams remain. It is quarterfinals time for Russia 2018. So quarterfinal 1 is going to be Portugal versus France. Then we will see Brazil versus Belgium, Spain versus Argentina, and Germany versus England. So Portugal versus France. I think Portugal might be able to get through to the semi-finals. Can they use the luck they had in Euro 2016? I think their luck's going to run out, and I think it's going to be France getting themselves to the last 4. Brazil versus Belgium is going to be an all-time classic. I think every game Brazil plays in the World Cup is going to be just a ridiculous game to watch, and I'm surely going to be getting up to watch Brazil all throughout the World Cup. Nice voice crack, Jared. But ultimately, I think Brazil's fight, their drive to get to the World Cup semi-finals and avenge the 7-1 loss they had in Brazil is going to be too much. I think Brazil is going to take down Belgium and get to the semi-finals. Then it's going to be an absolute classic, Spain versus Argentina. Very excited for this one. I mean, I'm very excited for every game, but I think if Spain versus Argentina comes to fruition, we are in for an absolute treat. But ultimately, I think Spain is going to be getting through to the semi-finals and taking down Argentina. What is going on with my voice today? Now this one, Germany versus England. I think it's going to be a very, very, very close game, but I've got to go with Germany for this one. I think they're going to get past England. I think they just have too much class in the squad all around the park. England's going to have a good tournament, but I think their run will end in the quarterfinals against Germany. So 4 teams remain now. The 2018 Russia World Cup semi-finals. France versus Brazil, and Spain versus Germany. Which 2 teams will get through to the World Cup final on July 15th? We're about to find out. So France versus Brazil. This is a mouth-watering fixture. Everybody wants to see this one. Ultimately, I'm going with Brazil to knock down France. France are going to choke at the last stages, and they're going to be eliminated at the semi-finals. I think they'll be a shoo-in for the Euro 2020 tournament, but 2022 is going to be where France really shines, in my opinion, and I think Brazil, they've just got too much firepower. Their squad, the depth, ridiculous. I'm going Brazil to beat France and get to the World Cup final. Now, I had to have a long, hard think about Spain versus Germany. I was sitting here for about 15, 20 minutes, going through the squads, going through the stats, just trying to nail down who I think is going to join Brazil in the World Cup final. But ultimately, I think Germany aren't going to have the success they had in Brazil. I don't think it's going to be another 7-1. I am backing Spain to get to the final of the World Cup and take on Brazil. It's going to be a tough one, but I think Germany are going to get that second tournament syndrome. They're not going to be able to back it up. They're not going to be able to defend the crown, and it's going to be a Spain versus Brazil World Cup final for 2018 in Russia. And now comes the big question. Is it going to be Brazil lifting the trophy, or is it going to be Spain? Ladies and gentlemen, Can I get a drum roll, please? It is going to be Brazil. I am backing Brazil to be the 2018 FIFA World Cup champions in Russia. I think they're going to have too much drive following the heartbreaking scenes they suffered at their home nation tournament in 2014. They've got the firepower. Neymar, now considered one of the best players in world football. Philippe Coutinho coming off a career best season. Edison is quickly becoming one of the best goalkeepers in the world. I think he'll be the best goal, up there with the best in 2022. Alisson as well. They've got so much depth all around the field, Brazil. And I think it's going to be too much to take down Spain, or to take down Spain, for Spain to be able to take them down. Spain, everybody's sleeping on them. I think they're going to get all the way to the final, but ultimately, I am backing Brazil to become 2018 FIFA World Cup champions. So there it is, fellas. That is my thoughts surrounding the 2018 World Cup. As I said, I'm sure a lot of you guys agree with me, and I'm sure a lot of you guys also disagree with me. Feel free to leave your thoughts in the comment section down below. I'll definitely be reading through them and hoping to have some good debates with you guys. But fellas, it's been something a little bit different today from me. I really hope you guys enjoyed it, but if you did, make sure you leave a like on the video, and make sure you let me know if you want me to do more of these in real life football videos. I'm a massive football fan, and I don't feel like I express that enough on my channel and express my thoughts enough. But anyways, fellas, hope you enjoyed it. It has been JarradHD here. I'll see you in a few weeks for the World Cup. I am out. Peace.